Hey there, good evening, how you doing? My name's Yalek, and we are going to be doing a Boom Beach Fat Fingers video. Fat Fingers, in case you don't know, is a 5-man task force. We are trying to attack the 5-man leaderboard here. Currently you see us at number 13. We have been frequently as high as number 10 recently on this push. One nice thing in the past, this task force at one point, a long time ago, held the number 2 position on the leaderboard. We've never gotten to the 1 position, but held number 2. However, that was long before I joined Fat Fingers. Probably on their initial push, good for them. But we have never managed to break that record. However, if you look just below that, highest amount of force points held, 17,930. That is a total from a couple days ago. So even though we are nowhere near the number 2 position on the leaderboard right now, this task force has never held more force points than we have recently. Reasons for the difference there being, like, we've had additions of additional HQ levels, additional LC levels, so you've got more Zookas per boat, you've got Zookas with extra levels in the armory and so on. So, you know, it is possible to do more now than it was whenever that was when this task force reached the number 2 position. Regardless, something of an achievement there. Our lineup has changed a little bit over the course of this push, so you still have me here, you have Sven here, No Name, who is Argus. Franchise has taken over in the last, I don't know, couple of months. Great addition to the team. Very interesting hits, and we're going to see some of his work later on. And then also Dot What came to us from within the Triangle 9 family of task forces. Fat Fingers is associated with them, and he has moved up, and he's, I think, the first person in a while who's willing to take on this level of challenge and responsibility. So really kudos to him for stepping into this world for what I believe is the first time, and seeing what the 5-man game is like. And on that note, let's see what the 5-man game is like. We've had a very interesting week, let's say. I don't think that those attacks will no longer be available. We've had some really crappy rolls over the last week, I am not going to lie to you. With that said, we've made the best of quite a few of them. So here, we didn't get the 5 blue lines that we are always trying to get. 5 solos would be great, but, you know, if we're attacking Boomtown, as you can see here, 5 solos weren't available. So in that case, we have to improvise and try to do better. Now here, 1,024 force points out of a possible 1,250. Here we got the 5 blue lines that we were looking for, so we'll see at least a couple of those hits in this video. The day that followed it, 714, brutal. All 3 of the biggest force point bases on this operation were shield bases. So Sven on complex, that was the 190, and then we had some really hard choices to make. So I opened Boomtown. What finished off Boomtown, so that looks like that was the 298 base on this operation. And then we're going to see this hit later. This is Franchise. I'm not going to say that this was close to being a rogue solo, but it very well could have been a rogue solo, which would have been amazing to watch. Some really, really unfortunate luck. We'll cover that later. And then Argus finished that off. But, you know, I mean, if we're attacking shield bases here, this was a good day. We had 5 lines, and then again today we are going to, you see, we're attacking Boomtown again. We're going to have to make some difficult decisions. This is the sort of stuff that you have to do when you are trying to play the five-man game and keep your points steady. So, want to look at one of those from today. Let's see, from yesterday. Nothing really jumping out at me. This day with the 5 blue lines, I'd like to look at a couple of these. First of all, we're going to see us. Let's start with .what. Again, recently promoted from within the Triangle 9 family of task forces, and he's going to handle this 298 Conofold with relative ease, as I recall. Big health. That's 2.1 million, and had a bit of a choice here. All right, so .what, I should point out, has statues like mine. I have always run 5/5 statues, 5 gunboat and 5 troop damage in this task force until we got HQ 24, and at HQ 24 we got an extra sculptor and an extra statue in the sculptor. So you now have a maximum of 11 statues. So my choice, being that I had 5 GBE, I could add another GBE and keep the 5 damage, or I could just add more damage. I chose to add more damage. .what has kept, or .what uses that same lineup. So he is a 5 GBE and 6 damage account. What he's doing here is sacrificing a boat of bombers. Got a nice Conofold over here, very friendly on the left side, and he's going to farm up. He's going to farm up GBE basically forever over here, and he's going to use that to make sure that he has enough GBE to take down this core, regardless of how many shocks or critters or whatever that he chooses to use. Let's slow this down here. So he has sacrificed a boat of bombers. They're dead. You possibly just heard them screaming off to the left side of this screen. So 7 boats of Zookas and Sergeant Brick. Getting himself into position. Now here, he could use 4 shocks. Rocket launcher here, which I can't click currently because it's still under smoke. And then there's this flotsam cannon over here. So we had talked about this in chat. He decided to go with critters and 3 shocks, critters for the flotsam cannon, followed by 3 shocks for the shock launchers, rocket launchers, and just absolutely crushes this, which is a very good way for you guys to meet .what. It was a beautiful hit, and I love the choice to drop some bombers over here and make sure that he has all the GBE he was going to need, because with the 6 damage statues, he already had the damage that he was going to need, even being down 1 boat of Zookas. So, really great hit. Handled the 298 on that op. Sven. Actually, I want to watch Sven's hit from the today with the current ongoing op, so we're going to skip that one. I'll do my Waterloo here, which was almost great, except for one minor glitch midway through. Not a big health Waterloo. I'm going to farm a bunch of GBE down here with bombers, because, you know, that's my thing, which is why I'm happy when other people do it. Cleared the usual mines, except over here, normally you can just use an artillery. Usually it goes artillery up here at the corner, artillery down here. There will be 3 mines below these 2 shock launchers, and then 1 artillery over here to clear 1 mine on your path to this point right here, that little opening between the shock launcher and the machine gun. Except in this case, the 2 mines on that path, one was a shock mine, which is very bad, and the other was a max level 24 mine, which is also very bad. So I had to use some extra GBE to use a barrage to clear both the mines down here. So we're farming a little bit extra on the right hand side. Given the low health of this core, that is a little over 1.2, 2.5 or something like that million health. I knew I could afford to get away with this very easily. Also, because of the layout of this particular map, got a lot of crap down here, a lot of crap down here, not a whole lot up here. So I'm going to go ahead and use, thanks, great, nope, not interested, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and use, instead of using brick, I'm going to use private bullet with 7 boats of Zookas. And again, I know, as with dot what's hit, I know that I have tons and tons of damage to take this down, so that is not a concern. Delay drop on Bullet, because Bullet is the fastest of all the heroes. He will get ahead of the Zookas pretty quickly. I know this. I'm going to slow this down here. Here's where things get interesting. Right here, I had the game sound off. So I don't know if you noticed that, but I went to throw this smoke, and I was not sure whether it got down or not. I didn't see the tap register, and I couldn't hear anything because I had game sound off. So I re-threw that smoke. There are 2 smokes there where Bullet is standing right now. And I'm trying to get Bullet in a pretty specific place, so the timing right about here, we're going to slow this down to half times, gets pretty sketchy because I knew I was a little bit behind. So then I threw 3 smokes quickly, threw the shock on Bullet. He was a little bit higher than I would have liked to get him, and I'm trying to get the Zookas to catch up here. Now, the thing with Bullet, when you do this hit, you really want him to be, you see those 4 mortars right there, just to the left of the core. You really want him to be standing, when he finishes, below those 4 mortars, not in the middle of those 4 mortars. He can't, now from here, he can't walk through the mortars to attack the core. He has to go around them one way or the other. I got a little lucky here because I was a little late on the shock. He's higher than I would have liked him to be, but he's low enough that when he chooses to move, which you will see here in a second, he's low enough that when he chooses to move, he will move down to the bottom of those 4 mortars. And that's exactly where you want him to be standing, because it keeps the splash damage away from the Zookas. All of this nasty stuff down here will focus on Bullet, and the Zookas get none of the splash damage because he's far enough away from them that the splash doesn't reach them. So, in this particular case, the only thing that I had to shock was up here while the attack was ongoing, and the Zookas were out of smoke. I had to shock a few things up here, a couple machine guns and rocket launchers, but the Zookas were otherwise pretty much unmolested. Could have gone better, could have gone a whole lot worse, and I'll take that. Would love to show this, however, I'm going to skip it because I want to go back to here. I'm going to show this open that Franchise did on Rogue. Again, this is the one, it was not, I'm not going to say it was close to a solo. This could have been a solo, and honestly almost should have been a solo. The health on this shield was relatively low for Rogue, and let's see, you can do the math on that yourself. I don't remember what it was. However, also a friendly layout here, this cannon is usually a rocket launcher or something, and in this case, being that it is a cannon, he can just ignore it, so that he is then going to try to, well, just go ahead and clear, basically. Now, we will get ahead to the part of this hit that matters in a moment. Sometimes you'll see people here who try to use Everspark and do a ninja hack on this defense right here, which is almost always a rocket launcher. I don't know if you noticed, but he threw a couple of critters ahead of these last 2 smokes here, and that was to clear the mines. Unfortunately, don't think we'll be able to click them right here. We're watching this in slow motion right now, because you're going to see a bunch right there, a bunch of the Zookas evaporate. So as it turns out, he threw those critters ahead of those smokes, and they cleared a whole bunch of the mines, except they didn't clear 2 that were right next to each other. Now, I checked, and these were both level 21 mines. By themselves, neither one of them would have caused a whole lot of harm, because level 21 would not be enough damage to kill your Zookas. However, 2 of them together, they clipped off a whole bunch of his Zookas, probably about half his girls. And I'm going to speed this up to 4 times mode, because then I want you to see exactly how far along he got into this shield. He's cleared everything now. He brought a boat of bombers, which I thought was a great idea, actually. A little bit more to manage on the walk. It means you have to be a little bit more careful about how you park, because troops are going to spread a bunch more. But the bombers do help to clear extra things, like down over in this area, down over that area, so that the Zookas have room to work. Had those 2 mines not been right next to each other, you can see where his attack finishes up. He's got, what is that? Somewhat left. I want to say 20% on that shield. So let's say 15%. That's 15% left on that shield, whatever the hell total of that shield was, plus the core. But if you look, where'd we go? No, obviously not there. Here, 714. If you look at the a number of Zookas that he had left there, 58 out of 94 total that he deployed, and if you take away the ones from the stupid mines that really should have been removed by the critters but weren't, if it had been pretty much any other configuration on the mines, if they had not been right next to each other, if they had been spread to like the left and right side of that hit, he'd have been fine. But they were right next to each other, so when they popped off, they took out a whole bunch of girls all at the same time. I guarantee you that that rogue would have gone down, and he would have soloed it. If you want to argue, feel free to drop a comment, but I don't see... Yeah, he would have had it, except for that one tiny detail, which super sucks. Anyway, it was a really great shot. So, appreciated that hit. Let's see. We have not done Argus, right? And I don't think we've done a Sven hit. So we are going to do an Argus hit. I'm actually going to go back here. Yeah. Because this day we had the Boomtown we did in 2, and Argus did the finish. I had a pretty good open on this, I'm not going to lie. Managed to clear all the rocket launchers back here, but I just loved... I loved seeing this get finished, because, you know, it's Boomtown. You could waste many hits on this base if you wanted to, but, you know, we just banged it out in 2. He loses... a bomber or 2 there to one of the boom mines, but that's, you know, like from here he's golden. Nice little walk with the bombardiers, getting himself well out of range of things, comes out of smoke hacking so that all of these defenses down here will focus on what he has hacked. And then from here, he's just trying to clear himself a pocket right here, but he does a really good job of deciding when enough is enough. You've got shock launchers over here, you've got a shock blaster down here, you've got boom cannons over here. Finds himself like the perfect little pocket to park and just wreck what is remaining of this core. And like we have had to, as you saw today, we are attacking Boomtown again, trying to get Boomtown into. It's a bit of a desperate play when you're trying to get Boomtown into, because, you know, I mean, all other things being considered, you would rather not do that, but there it is. Sometimes you just have to go ahead and do that. So that was Argus finishing off Boomtown into, which was fantastic, because I was super nervous about that base. And then finally, I think we're left with Sven. And Sven, I'm going to look at this low point hit that he did from today, because this was a nasty low point. We have a terrible roll again today. We'll get back to that in just a minute. Not a great low point. extra rocket launchers over here, all 3 rocket launchers over here. Sometimes you get lucky and it's not a rocket launcher over here, but in this case, not lucky. Don't know the health on this core, but you have the usual bullshit to deal with over here. So Sven, I mean, it's a weird attack. I had looked at this and I wrote the base off. I was not interested in trying to figure out anything further. This was a nasty base, and I was just kind of depressed in general about the way that this op looked. It was not a fantastic start to the operation, just on the face of things. Ugly bases, ugly layouts, so on. Sven went ahead and he found a way on this base, which was terrific. Now, he's sent 4 boats of Zookas up here and just opts to go ahead. He clears the rocket launchers and then lets them die. And then he drops bombers. He hates bombers. I don't quite know why. He says they mess with his OCD, because they spread so much when you try to park them, and they're messy. But, that would be the downside of bombers. There are some upsides as well. And the upside is that they do incredible damage at a very long range compared to like twice the range of Zookas almost, and that you can just find yourself a little spot to land them and clear a whole bunch of stuff. We'll put this into a faster mode, and then you can find yourself a nice little pocket to go ahead and wreck a core like this, shield or not. He finds himself just the perfect spot, just out of range, out of those rocket launchers, the extra rocket launchers up here. And he's got basically all of his 4 boats of bombers, and he's just going to burn through this core and the shield, whatever the health was, with relative ease, which is great because this was not a fun layout. So there you go. Don't know what the timing on that was, like how much time he had left out. But it doesn't really matter now, does it? Because a win's a win. So, yeah, really good hit there. We've not had the best day in terms of roll here. We've got not a really nice Boomtown. You can see Fran wrote the note there. He's replacing a note that I previously wrote before that. I can't say I had any better ideas. He's like trying to strategize something out of it. It's not a great layout. It really isn't. Extra rocket down here really, really messes with the plan that we would usually make. He's got the shield down. Oh, man, I wish I had watched that hit instead. He got the shields over here. He got the shields over here. You know what? What are we at for time? You know what? It's rather long. We should watch the short version of this because that's got to be fantastic. The only real chance of getting this base in 2 hits was to get both of the shields at the same time. A little bit of sabotage obviously happened there. 3 boats of bombardiers to get the left shields. Speed through that because that is... I have not seen this yet. This is interesting to me also. And the only real chance we had of getting this Boomtown in 2 hits was to have all of the shields down so that somebody could rush it. So it's the second part of this hit that I'm really, really interested in. Okay. Left shields down. Over here, he's already dropped 1 boat. He's gathering GBE. This is smart. Again, Fran, really great addition to the team. Oh, he's got some heavies along and bullet. They're going to clear mines, so he is saving GBE on mine clearing. GBE is the problem on this hit because you have to get, you need a few smokes to get over here, and then you need a bunch of smokes to get back here. So this is smart. I am liking this. Play. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. There we go. Refreshing his flare so that the flare doesn't run out. Letting the heavies clear mines and bullet. And what else is bullet going to do here? Shock knuckles, or I think he might well have shock knuckles. So that bullet will get out front. There it is. Yep. So bullet will get out front, and then the shock launchers will focus on him. Rocket launchers will focus on him. and then the Zookas will have tons and tons of room just to clear while Bullock gets pummeled, because that's what Bullock gets paid to do. I have not seen this yet. This is fantastic. Love this. So yeah, you know what? We could watch more stuff. I had a solo earlier in this op, which is pretty friggin' ridiculous. To be honest, we're running out of time. I wish I had time to show that, but I would rather show something like this. This is spectacular. Really, really great hit by Franchise there, and that gives us a chance to knock down this Boomtown in 2. I got the 226, the 298 in this op is inaccessible. Fang is not a good layout. There's a CMO and a grappler. The grappler is really the worst problem of the two. The CMO's bad, but you might be able to account for it. The grappler over here, you can't. This is just, that's a 3-hitter at least. So, that's a very, very big hit on the Boomtown Open. Pretty happy with that. Love to see that. Anyway, so we are Fat Fingers on Yalek. We do 5-man ops. If you're interested in this, like, subscribe, whatever you do. And we will be back later with more, and hopefully